Okay, here we are with video 2, and let's continue. The house was an altar with 10,000 attendants, big, small, servicing, attending in choirs. But the gods had gone away, and the ritual of religion continued senselessly, uselessly. So we have lots of religious words. We have altar, we have ritual, we have religion. So I'm kind of wondering what all of these service, attending, choirs, I'm trying to figure out what all that has to do. Well, I guess the sentence before, it was saying that not even a bird must touch the house. The house was an altar with 10,000 attendants, but the gods had gone away. So I'm wondering now, were the gods the people, since they went away, gone away? I'm going to put people with a question mark. 12 noon. The dog whined, shivering on the front porch. So now we have a dog that's still alive as well. But he's shivering because dogs are so used to people taking care of them. So I wonder how a dog's faring right now. The front door recognized the dog voice and opened. The dog, once huge and fleshy, but now gone to bone and covered with sores, moved in and through the house, tracking mud. Behind it whirred angry mice, angry at having to pick up mud, angry at inconvenience. Got some repetition there, or again and again. For not a leaf fragment blew under the door, but what the wall panels flipped open, and the copper scrap rats flashed swiftly out. The offending dust, hair, or paper, seized in miniature steel jaws, was raced back to the burrows. There, down tubes which fed into the cellar, it was dropped into the sighing vent of an incinerator, which sat like evil Baal in a dark corner. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that one. Again, we have the sighing vent of the incinerator, so we have that personification again. Vents don't usually sigh. So something's up with this house. Like I said, it's interesting to me that all these animals are surviving, and then they're referring to the house as this personified being, or giving it human characteristics. The dog ran upstairs, hysterically yelping to each door, at last realizing, as the house realized, that only silence was here. So the dog's trying to get the people. It sniffed the air and scratched the kitchen door. Behind the door, the stove was making pancakes, which filled the house with a rich baked odor and the scent of maple syrup. The dog frothed at the mouth, lying at the door sniffing, its eyes turned to fire. It ran wildly in circles, biting at its tail, spun in a frenzy, and died. It lay in the parlor for an hour because it's hungry. 2 o'clock, sang a voice. So that was at 12 noon when the dog showed up. So that was 2 hours later. Delicately sensing decay at last, the regiments of mice hummed out as softly as blown gray leaves in an electric wind. Regiments, that's like a military. I have one L, yeah. So that's like their job. That they're very job oriented. This is what I need to do. 2:15, the dog was gone. In the cellar, the incinerator glowed suddenly, and a whirl of sparks leaped up the chimney. 2:35, bridge tables sprouted from patio walls. So bridge is a card game, I think. Some kind of game that people, like groups of people, can play. Playing cards fluttered onto pads in a shower of pips. I don't know that word. Martinis manifested on an oaken bench with egg salad sandwiches. Music played. So like they're getting ready to entertain by having this bridge party. But the tables were silent and the cards untouched. At 4 o'clock, the tables folded like great butterflies back through the paneled walls. Folded like great butterflies. 4:30, the nursery walls glowed. Animals took shape, yellow giraffes, blue lions, pink antelopes. So we have this repetition. I know it's not the same word, but yellow giraffes, blue lions, pink antelopes, lilac panthers cavorting in crystal substance. The walls were glass, and this is actually a tie to one of their old stories, one of his other stories, which I didn't make this connection until I just read the other story. So anyway, the Veld is another story. Hidden films docked through well-oiled sprockets and the walls lived. So we have more of that personification there. The nursery floor was woven to resemble a crisp cereal meadow. Over this ran aluminum roaches and iron crickets, and in the hot, still air butterflies of delicate red tissue wavered among the sharp aroma of animal spores. There was the sound like a great matted yellow hive of bees within dark bellows. This is kind of juxtaposition. We have this yellow hive, dark bellows, so that opposite element of yellow is bright versus the dark. I don't know if that's intentional, but I'm sure everything is. The lazy bumble of a purring lion. So now we have like bumble goes back to bees, purring lions, usually they're roaring. And there is a patter of octopi, I'm sure I'm saying that incorrectly, feet, and the murmur of fresh jungle rain like other hooves falling upon the summer starched grass. Now the walls dissolved into distances, all right? Now the walls dissolved into distances of parched weed, mile on mile, and warm, endless skies. The animals drew away into thorn breaks and water holes. It was the children's hour. So like kids are coming. I don't know. 5 o'clock, the bath filled with clear, hot water. 6, 7, 8 o'clock. I'm checking the time here, friends. 6, 7, 8 o'clock. The dinner dishes manipulated like magic tricks, and in the study, a click. The study is like an office, kind of. In the metal stand opposite the hearth, where a fire now blazed up warmly, a cigar popped out, half an inch of soft gray ash on it, smoking, waiting. So it's like these rituals that they do every day. So at 5 o'clock, the bathtub's filling with water. So they must get in the bath at like 5:15, 6, 7, 8 o'clock, the dinner dishes and the sitting at the hearth, or not sitting at the hearth where the fire, it's like a fireplace. The cigar comes out. So the man probably smoked a cigar at night. 9 o'clock, the beds warmed their hidden circuits, for nights were cool here. So the beds are automatically warming themselves. 9:05, a voice spoke from the study ceiling. Mrs. McLennan, which poem would you like this evening? The house was silent. The voice said at last, since you express no preference, I shall select a poem at random. Quiet music rose from the back to back the voice. Sarah Teasdale, as I recall your favorite. So she's going to read this poem, but as a reader, before I start reading it, I know that this isn't just some random poem that Ray Bradbury put in here. This is going to have meaning to this specific text as we go through. In fact, there's the title, There Will Come Soft Rains. There will come soft rains and the smell of the ground, and swallows circling with their shimmering sound. Swallows are birds. And frogs in the pools singing at night, and wild plum trees in tremulous white. Robins will wear their feathery fire, whistling their whims on a low fence wire. And not one will know of the war. Not one will care at last when it is done. Not one would mind neither bird nor tree if mankind perished utterly. Doing some underlining, we'll go back in just a minute. And spring herself, when she woke at dawn, would scarcely know that we were gone. So I notice as we go through this, there's lots of, we have swallows, frogs, trees, robins, neither bird nor tree. So we have all this nature here. And it's saying that nature is going to go on. There will come soft rain. So there must have been hard rain. So rain that had something in it that was damaging. So the soft rains came. So this is like the good coming back, basically. It's kind of hard to explain, but a hard rain means that there's maybe acid in the air or something negative is in the air, which makes the rain hard and it can be destructive. And so the soft rains coming back would mean that something happened that caused there to be like a hard rain, not like drenching hard, but like what the water droplets could do to the area around us. And all of these animals, when the rains get soft again, which is good again, all these animals are going to come back out singing and doing what they were doing. And not one will know of the war, not one. So my guess is there was some kind of war. And not one will care when it is done, not one would mind neither burden or tree if mankind perished utterly. So mankind would be humans, and to perish means to go away or die. So nature is going to go on. There was some kind of war, and nature not care if mankind gone forever. Because Mother Nature is going to go on, and like spring herself, they even named spring because they capitalized that right there. So spring is also named. See, not an accidental poem because an author never does anything by accident. Let's continue. The fire burned on the stone hearth, and the cigar fell away into a mound of quiet ash on its empty tray. On its tray, the empty chairs faced each other between the silent walls, and the music played. At 10 o'clock, the house began to die. Again, here we go. We have the house is dying. This is more personification. The wind blew, a failing tree bough crashed through the kitchen window. Cleaning solvent bottled, shattered over the stove. The room was ablaze in an instant. So the room went up in a blaze because a tree fell into it. What do we have going on up here? We're going right back into that idea of Mother Nature, aren't we? Because what is ultimately taking it down? The tree. Fire, screamed a voice. The house lights flashed. Water pumps shot water from the ceilings, but the solvent spread on the linoleum, licking, eating under the kitchen door, while the voices took it up in chorus. Fire, fire, fire. So the solvent is licking and eating. Again, personification, because solvent does not eat and lick. The house tried to save itself. Personification. Doors sprang tightly shut, but the windows were broken by the heat, and the wind blew and sucked upon the fire. Wind sucking the fire. The house gave ground as the fire in 10 billion angry sparks moved with flaming ease, angry sparks, from room to room and then up the stairs, while scurrying water rats squeaked from the walls, pistoled their water and ran for more, and the wall sprays let down showers of mechanical rain. But too late. Somewhere, sighing, a pump shrugged to a stop. Shrugged to a stop. The pump is shrugging. The quenching rain ceased. The reserve water supply, which had filled baths and washed dishes for many quiet days, was gone. The fire crackled up the stairs. It fed upon Picasso, so the fire is now feeding. And Matisse's in the upper halls like delicacies, because those are really, 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 really famous artists. Oops, my paper in there. Baking off the oily flesh, tenderly crisping the canvases into black shavings. Now the fire lay in bed, stood in windows, and changed the color of the drapes. So it's changing the drapes. Who's in control now? It is no longer the machines, but Mother Nature has once again taken over, because fire with the tree part. This idea of taking the Picassos and Matisses, these paintings, these very, very famous, very, very expensive paintings, and basically turning it into like this barbecue. So they're feeding upon them, baking off the oily flesh, tenderly crisping the canvases into black shavings, which is kind of, when you think of having a barbecue, the way that you handle the food that you put on the barbecue grill. So, okay, one more video.